Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I want to show you destructuring in JavaScript. It sounds complicated, but it's honestly just a shortcut for pulling values out of arrays or objects. Like instead of writing 3 lines of code, you write 1 line. That's it. It makes your code cleaner and easier to read. So let's break it down simply. I'll show you what it is, how it works, and when you'd actually use it. Let's start with arrays. Now imagine you have an array of colors like red, green, and blue, and you want to access the first 2 colors from this array. So to do that, normally you're going to do colors followed by brackets, and then within the brackets you specify the index of the location of that color. In this case, 0 is going to be red and 1 is going to be green, since arrays start with index 0. We're going to then assign those to variables, first and second, just to, for just convenience. And what we're going to see is, if we run this, we're going to get back red and green in the console. Now this works, it's just a bit, bit of extra lines of code. And what you could do to simplify this is use destructuring. And so instead of, if we do the exact same thing, but we destructure it, it's going to be 1 less line of code. And we'll see that here. We have const first, second assigned to the colors array, or the colors variable, which is, assigned to an array. And what we're doing here is, unpacking, and we're saying, hey, within this array, within the brackets here, we want the first element, first color red, to be assigned to the variable first, and the second element to be assigned to the variable of second. And so if we run this, let's go ahead and add the console. If we run this, we get back red and green in the console. So you can really think of this as like unpacking a box, you can say. So what's happening here is, we can go ahead and hop to the next one. You have this box of, shoes and hat. Let's say you have a box and you're really unpacking it. And so within the box, you're pulling out items. And what we're doing here is pulling out the shoes and pulling out the hat. And we're assigning that to, we're putting a little tag on the item, a little sticker that says, item 2. And then we've got item 1 and item 2. And so if we run this, you will see that we have, let's go ahead and console.log this, item 1, and let's do console.log item 2. And you'll see that we get shoes and hat. And so really just think of this idea of unboxing, and we are, using brackets on the left side to really, do a one-liner of, assigning elements to variables. That's all we're doing. Now we could also look at this inside of an object, and it's going to be very similar. You've got a user object. In this case, we've got the name of Liam, the age of 18, and normally you're going to, if you want to do this, same as we did for the array, we have 2 variables. We've got name and age, and we are assigning that to a value within the object. To get those values, you have to use dot notation. So we're using user.name in this case, and then user.age to get 18 Liam, those values. And those will run in the console and work as we saw as the arrays. But to do this again, more simplified, you could use destructuring. And what's happening here is we've got the, it's really moved to a 1 line. We are wrapping the variable's name and age with the curly braces, and we're assigning that to the user variable, which is assigned to an object. And so we are really just unpacking this object. We're saying, within this object, we want the first element to be name, the second element to be age. And so that's what we're doing here. And then, that would work as well. Now, you also as well can, rename these. So it doesn't just have to be, let's say, name. You could rename these variables. And to do that, you can give it, like an alias you can think of. And so what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, instead of name, within the object it's called name, but we really want it to, we refer to it as username, this alias. And so all we're doing here is if we run this, we get back Liam, and we're referring to the name key as username, really, or the variable. We're creating a new variable, and it's going to be the name username. And then also you can as well, just get back 1 item. You don't have to get back both. And so what we're doing here, we're saying, we want to get back the age only. That's the only one we're concerned about. And so we're specifying the key within the destructuring like so. And if we run this, we're going to get back that age of 18. Do that there. So destructuring is really just to simplify, make it a little bit easier. Now, a couple things I want to go into is, this also, some other things that, can work as well is if you want to skip values for, in the case of an array, you saw here with age that we just referenced the key and we got that back. We're like, oh, this is the name of the key, but we're making it a variable and then we're console.logging that. Now for arrays, you're going to want to, you want to get to that third element, but you can't just get to it like you can with the objects. You got to, insert some commas to skip essentially. And what we're doing is we're saying, we're destructuring this array A, B, and C, and we want the third element to be named third or assigned to a variable named third. And if we can then, moving forward, reference that as the third variable. Like so, C. And so the name doesn't matter. So, even though this is incorrect, we could say fourth, and it's still going to be that third element, C. So the name is specified by yourself, but, of course, it's a lot more helpful to, use the name that makes more sense, which is third in this case. It's the third element, so put third. Okay. Now, you also can destructure in functions for cleaner code. And we have a function here of greet. We're just saying, hey, go ahead and, console.log hello user.name, for instance. And so, that is a standard function. You can go ahead and instead make it a little bit cleaner by instead destructuring that user object by just using, the curly braces and then within putting the name of, of the key. And destructure it that way. And then it's hello name. So it's a bit cleaner code. So something also to consider as well for, getting the same result, just a little bit cleaner in terms of your approach. Okay. And then finally, the last little bit here, you also can assign using destructuring default values. So here we have a object with a mood. We're trying to get, it's an empty object and we're saying, hey, we want that, that key within the object to be given the variable name of mood. But if there's no value, if that doesn't exist, then, we want to go ahead and run that with happy. And so when we console.log mood, we're going to get back happy. Now you'll see that we also get back nothing, and that does the same for arrays. So we're saying, we have a variable of A. If it doesn't exist, if it's, in this case, it's empty, we're trying to extract the first element, assign it to a variable of A. If it's not there, if there's no value at index 0, then we're giving it a default value of nothing. And the same thing goes that we get back nothing. So this is when you can set default values in case, something's missing. And that could also be helpful in certain contexts. And that's destructuring. It's just a shortcut for pulling stuff out of arrays and objects. If this helped, be sure to drop a like and comment. And if you're learning JavaScript, I got more beginner videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.